Good evening and welcome to Season 3, Episode 10 of the Pack Homer Podcast. Now, I don't know if Adam did his homework or not on podcast. I asked him to do it. I'm guessing he has not. But do you got any statistics for us, Adam? This is our 50th episode.
I did a little bit. Basically, found out that less than 10% of all podcasts, which I would have thought it was less than that. It was like 7 or 8% make it to episode 50. So that's about as far as I got. It is definitely the first NC State baseball podcast to make it to 50 episodes, though.
I don't know if I should. I don't know if I should congratulate us for making it to 50 episodes or congratulate the poor folks that have listened that long. So, either way. All right. I'm not spending a whole lot of time on Wake Forest. I mean, we're 9-9 in the ACC, still hanging on by a thread for postseason hopes. But I went to Wake Forest this weekend, won 1 out of 3, which is what we had to do. Would have loved to win the series, but we lost game 1, 22-1. Heath Andrews didn't make it out of the second inning, I believe, and then if you remember the Arkansas game, the year we went to the College World Series, it was kind of like that. We threw everybody. My wife was watching a game with me, and we were discussing some of these pitchers that we haven't seen much before. So I was sitting there having to do a roster check every time I'd see a guy come jogging in at the bullpen before the announcers announced it. But anyway, lost game 1, 22-1. Lost game 2, 18-7, and won game 3, 6-5 in 10 innings. The only thing I'll say about game 1, it was pretty disheartening to watch Wake Forest have a home run derby after we did everything right early in the game as far as getting to Chris Lavonis. I think we had him at 60 pitches in the second inning.
Yeah.
He didn't go but like 3 in the third. So like we had their ace on the ropes. Ty Head had a hit, gave us a 1-run lead in top of the first, and man, just ugly.
I don't know if on the ropes is the right.
Yeah, maybe not on the ropes. But we ran him off the field. We got him out of there. I mean, that was the goal.
Yeah, for sure. And we didn't do anything. We didn't do anything to score any guys that we did get on base. But yeah, that was. But we did make him throw a lot of pitches at least. I'd say. But man, the guy is absolutely filthy.
Oh my God! I mean,
I didn't realize that he was what was he? He was a second round draft pick out of high school. Turned down $3 million guaranteed money or slot money to go to Wake. So yeah,
he's 96 to 100, 96 to 100 with a hammer and possibly a top 5 draft pick next year. And we got him out of the game before the 4th inning was complete, I believe. But the problem for us was we were already down by 10 runs at that time. So it didn't do us a lot of good. You would like to think you'd had a chance if you do that. Then game 2, I mean, we scored 7 runs, which we've done a few times in ACC play this year. But again, just couldn't get Wake Forest out. I mean, they do play in a bandbox. I mean, that place is so small, and but to Wesley's point, because Wesley, you're the voice of reason. We both played in the same ballpark, right?
We got a bat too, right?
Yes. And they had one guy hadn't hit a home run all year to hit 2 in a game, and then they had another guy, their shortstop's like 5'8". I think he hit 2 or 3 this weekend. It was rough to watch. Anyway, game 3, we went 6-5. Big story of the series, other than the 2 blowouts in game 1 and 2. The biggest story of the series was that we didn't have Ryan Marone. We've kind of been hearing rumblings of that. We're never going to share anything we do here, but we weren't shocked that Marone wasn't going Friday night when that was released. We'll just say and leave it there that I think there's a good chance we get Marone back this season, but he's also a guy that's projected to go fairly high in the draft. I'm sure they're going to be careful with him, but am optimistic we'll get him back, and I honestly don't know when, so I'm just going to stop there. Game 3, we win 6-5 in 10 innings. 2 storylines in that game. Rhett Johnson goes 5 for 5. I mean, Jesus,
unbelievable.
And then the other one, and I'm gonna go to Wesley. So it's a 4-4 game going into 10th. We get a runner on, play a little small ball with Wyatt Pfeiffer, who came in. So another story that comes out of that game: Sherman Johnson injured himself on a hit in I believe it was the 8th inning, hit a single down the left field line, and almost like the turf monster got him coming around first, and he leaves the game with an injury. I don't know the extent of that injury yet, but Wyatt Pfeiffer lays on a bunt. They throw it away. We end up scoring, and then Pfeiffer tries to turn it into a triple. They got to have the worst replay angles in America because I thought he was obviously safe, but they couldn't overturn it. He's out. But we're up 5-4. Mikey Ryan gets on, still second and third, with us up 5-4 in the 6th. And Andrew Wiggins, I've never seen this in my life. Andrew Wiggins is at the plate when Ryan steals third base, and they're like, the announcers thought he was out. They're like, that must have been strike 3. We got 2 outs, because you see Vincent DiCarlo walking to the plate, and I was like, we're putting in Vincent DiCarlo for Drew Lanphier in this situation. Don't really love it. And I text Wesley and Adam. I said, was that a strike? There's no way that was a strike, because it looked so far off the plate. I was like, did he swing? I need to see a replay. Well, Avent subbed for Andrew Wiggins with a runner on third in a 1-2 or a 2-2 count.
2-2 count.
2-2 count. Brings in freshman Vincent DiCarlo, who on the season had a whopping 12 at bats. He steps in the box in a 2-2 count with a runner on third and 1 out for his 13th at bat of the season. Hits the ground ball, scores a run. We go up 6-4. That 6th run was important. Wake adds one in the bottom of the 10th, and Anderson Nance ends up getting out of there, shutting the door, and getting the win. But was that the wildest thing I've ever seen?
Yeah, I thought the inning was over, on the ground ball. I mean, I
Yeah.
was doing something else. Like, what the heck's going on? And so, yeah, I've never seen someone get yanked mid. I don't know if Wiggins just missed some signs, or he just even has seen enough. Told him to come back to the dugout. So it was.
I wonder if that's what it was. I wonder if he did like miss a couple signs or something. I mean,
that's all. I
don't
mean,
know.
I don't know. I will say, and not to rag on our own guys, but Andrew Wiggins took 4 swings in that game. I don't know if he's coming within a foot of hitting a baseball yet. And then that at bat, he had swung at 2 pitches, and I was like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. And I mean, I was thinking Wiggins, usually a pretty good bat to ball guy. Maybe he hits a sac fly here. I didn't know what was going on. And then a 6-4, and the announcers were confused. That was a pretty wild situation. But anyway, we won 6-5. Go to 9-9. Liam Hemrick was Luke Hemrick. Liam's my son's teammate. Luke Hemrick was the game 3 starter, and Luke threw the ball well. Ryder Garino came in and threw well in that game. Before we talk about Virginia Tech, I guess, if Marone is unable to go this weekend, the weekend rotation has not been released yet. I personally don't think you can take Nance out of the bullpen now, just because the bullpen is so thin. I feel like you got to have Garino or Nance. But is there any discussion? I mean, it just kind of is what it is. Heath Andrews has just struggled against ACC lineups. And I mean, also, I say I would be an advocate of Nance starting, but our bullpen is so thin. But at the same time, you can't go a whole weekend. And I mean, there was a possibility that Nance never throws a meaningful inning if Wake Forest just comes out and jumps all over Hemrick, and then Nance, your best arm that you have left, doesn't even throw a meaningful inning the whole weekend. So what's you guys' take on the rotation this weekend if there is no Marone?
I think we'll see exactly what we saw last weekend.
I do too.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you what you think we'll see. I asked you what should you see if you were the coach.
Well, I was surprised that Hemrick threw, because Hemrick threw over 50 pitches, I believe, in Greenville. And he looked really he pitched really well in Greenville, and so I was surprised to see. I was thinking he should have been our Sunday guy, but I'm happy to see we do not have a midweek game this week, so we really don't have to figure that piece out. But yeah, no, I agree with you. You really can't afford. I mean, I would love to see Nance starting, but I really don't think you can afford to yank him out of the uh, out of the pen right now with what we've got without Marone.
I
Would
think the
you?
only way, I think
Go
the
ahead.
only way that you would see, I mean, I think it's going to be Andrews regardless. I think the only way it would be Nance is if you flip flop Nance and Consiglio. If Cook were to go back to the pen. But
Yeah, and I
I
don't know
agree
that
with
I'm a
Wes.
fan of that.
I agree with Wes. I think it's going to be the same.
Fair enough. Um, I know it's going to be the same. I just
Yeah.
I just know it. I do think if Marone comes back, I think I'd just go with three lefties. I just go Marone, Consiglio, and Hemrick. Hemrick to me is Hemrick's good. Like
Yeah.
let him pitch. Uh, don't have a midweek game this week, so
What a
we
blessing that is.
we need to get healthy. I just told you we're kind of licking wounds with Sherman Johnson now being hurt. Obviously, Duden gone for the season. Marone, not sure when we're going to see him again. So going to Virginia Tech, who is another team that is very much on postseason life support. Virginia Tech is, I got to hear 19-19, 9-12 in ACC play, but they have an RPI of 47, which is higher than ours. So there'll be a quad one. There'll be a quad one ACC opponent or quad one opponent on the road. Would it be in a road game? Teams ranked 1 through 60 are quad one opponents. So Virginia Tech, a couple of stats I wrote down just because we're going to kind of go through this pretty quick too, is that Virginia Tech is going to run three guys out there. Brett Renfro, you guys have heard a lot. He's been an ace in the ACC for a while, but he's got a 6.41 ERA. I expect to see him Friday. Griffin Stieg, I think, with a 5.87 ERA. And then Ethan Grimm with an 8.49 ERA. So Virginia Tech is 14th out of 16 teams in the ACC in ERA with a 7.29 ERA in conference play. Actually, I think it's worse than 7.29 in conference play. It's 7.29 on the
730.
season.
Well, I see 736. Okay, but that might not be conference
730.
play.
That's probably right because it's 7.29 overall.
We're 664 in conference play.
And it probably was like sub 5 before this weekend when we gave up 45 runs in 3 games.
13 homers.
Yeah. So obviously we got to score some runs. Virginia Tech, surprisingly, I kind of feel like Virginia Tech usually hits some home runs. They've only hit 43 all year. We've only hit 15 in conference play, but I'm not even going to make us pick who wins the series because we're all going to pick NC State. I'm just going to say, how are we going to do it? I mean, we're going to have to hit. And when I ask you about our lineup, I mean, y'all want to talk about some guys that absolutely got to get going if we want a chance to play it all in June? Wesley?
Yeah. Yeah, McHugh. We got to get McHugh going for sure.
Yeah, I think that's one that jumps out.
McHugh and Frazeman, and I would argue whoever's DHing, whether it be Bargo or Wiggins or Novi or Pfeiffer or whoever it might be. We're lacking there too.
Got to find some juice. I mean,
got to find some juice.
I mean, Rhett Johnson, Luke Nixon, and Mikey Ryan are probably the 3 smallest players in our starting lineup, and they're the 3 best hitters we've had in ACC play. And I mean, just we got to get some of the bats going. I mean, I think Virginia Tech's a very winnable series if you get 2 out of 3 and you come out of there 11-10. You got a chance. I mean, 15 is probably the magic number with this team with the RPI. I think we got 12 games to win. You got to go 500 from here on in. You got Stanford. You've got Miami. You got UNC and Virginia Tech. So you feel like you got to win two this weekend with Miami and UNC being two of the three other series. So anyway, interesting note. One more interesting note about Virginia Tech: they have not been swept all year. They got one at Georgia Tech, one at UVA, two against Duke, one at home versus Stanford, one at Miami, one at Boston College, and they just won 2 out of 3 versus Pitt. So they're playing for their lives. We're playing for ours. Hope we come out of Blacksburg with a series win. So now on to the RPI before we go to some listener questions. I don't know if you guys follow us on Instagram at Pack Armor Pod or X, but we asked for some listener questions today, and we're going to get to those after this. But got an interesting thing to talk about because we're talking about the RPI. So we're number 50 in the RPI right now. I think there's some other metrics where we're a little higher. Our RPI probably needs to get somewhere around 40 if we win 15 games in the ACC to get in. Every opponent we have left is quad 1 or quad 2, with the exception of North Carolina A&T, who is RPI number 284.
We got to cancel that.
So
can't play that game. You can't play that game.
You can't play it.
No, you can't play that game.
I want to go a step farther and tell you what the Michigan Wolverines did today. So the Michigan Wolverines are number 42 in the country in RPI. They had a midweek game, so they're also fighting for their life, and they're probably fighting just as hard as we are, if not harder, even though their RPI is higher, because they play in the Big Ten, where they don't have the opportunity to play a quad 1 or quad 2 series every weekend. They had Dayton, who is RPI 198, as their scheduled midweek game. So not only did the Wolverines cancel the game with Dayton, they rescheduled a road game at Miami of Ohio, who is number 57 in the RPI. Miami, they have not played at Miami of Ohio since 1984. Michigan doesn't make a habit of going to Miami of Ohio. Now, the reason they're going to Miami of Ohio is because at 57 in the RPI, a road game in the top 60 is a quad 1 game. So we're not going to do it. I just know. One, because North Carolina A&T is another in-state school, and we don't want to get into the politics of canning an in-state scheduled game. But what do you guys think about that? I think it's brilliant.
It's just a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And first of all, I think you might have already said this. Isn't A&T like 240th?
284.
Oh, 284. So we could, in theory, if we were gonna follow the same blueprint as Michigan, we could cancel A&T and then schedule, if they didn't already have a game, High Point, and they're a quad 1 game.
I got a whole list of scenarios for you, Wesley. You're a step ahead of me. So
we could also go to the Citadel.
We could go to the Citadel. I got every school in North Carolina and South Carolina that would be a quad 1 game that is non-conference. We could go to the Citadel, RPI 54, to High Point, RPI 51, to East Carolina again. Why not? RPI 40. I guarantee you East Carolina would take that gate one more time.
They need
it too.
They need a quad 1 win as well.
This is going to be the start of us playing them 3 times every year. They can come to Raleigh twice next year. ECU, number 40. Coastal Carolina have not been to Conway. They're number 13. Guys, the problem is if we beat North Carolina A&T like we did at Richmond, if we beat them 27-0, we're still going down in the RPI. Like, you cannot play that game.
No, you can't.
And then the quad 2 opponents, just because a quad 2 opponent doesn't really hurt you, we could go to Wofford, number 84. South Carolina Upstate, number 82. Winthrop, number 81.
Yeah, they beat the hell out of us last year, didn't
they? South Carolina Upstate?
Yeah.
Might be right. South Carolina, number 88. Campbell, number 92, who's already beat us this year. Charlotte, number 94, or App, number 108, would all be bus rides.
Who's open? Does anybody open? They have an open in that game? That Tuesday?
Well, if you look at what Michigan did, I think they went and scheduled Miami of Ohio 57, who also needed a good opponent.
So they both canceled.
Yeah. So if you look at that list, I would think, that first list, Citadel, High Point. I don't think Citadel, it's not going to matter. Citadel's going to keep falling, but High Point, ECU, and Coastal Carolina, I think are all intriguing options if we're willing to hurt some feelings at North Carolina A&T. Nothing against North Carolina A&T, but it just does nothing to help us.
Hey man, that's
You
one of the
play.
Ag schools.
They're the other lean grant.
That's right. But not only did I think Bellarmine, I don't know how you even say it. Not only did Michigan cancel Dayton and pick up Miami of Ohio, Miami of Ohio canceled Bellarmine, or I don't know how you say it. I'm sorry. They swapped. Now Miami of Ohio is playing who Michigan was going to play. Dayton is playing who Michigan was going to play. Just makes too much sense. Anyway.
Well, I don't see us putting any effort into anything above normal, but maybe we could at least leave the sprinklers on at the baseball field that Monday night and not play the game.
I think there is rain in the forecast on Monday, although I would not count on it since we have not got an inch of rain in 2 months in Raleigh. But
the guy, maybe we can DM
the field guy. Yeah, we know him.
The field guy. Yeah.
If he'll give us the key,
the field guy, he might be a fan of the program too. Maybe we can.
Yeah.
But weren't we in relatively the same situation last year? We thought we should cancel the game against someone that was the same way, and we played it just because we are.
I don't think it was as dire of a situation as it is now, though.
Because if you remember last year, Wesley, going into the last week of the year, we were talking about hosting and winning the ACC, but we only won 1 out of 3 or we might have got swept by Stanford anyway, a long time ago.
But, yeah, we were probably the only ones talking about hosting.
But or we could have just played High Point earlier in the season, and none of this would have mattered.
A series with High Point.
So now, food for thought. That'll be something for our listeners to discuss. We're going to go to some questions from our listeners, and I think my guys here have seen some of these questions, but I got some they hadn't seen too. So I'm going to start with the first question that we have. Wesley.
Oh, God the hell.
So this is the 50th episode. We need to do more of this. We need to be interactive with our listeners. So we're starting with you, Wesley. We've gotten tremendous feedback. Hey, by the way, views were through the roof last week when Wesley came back. We about had to pay for more bandwidth to get this thing out once we had Wesley back from his hiatus. And he did have a hell of a rant last week if you hadn't listened to episode 9. But Wesley, which team should we scrap so we can secure more funding for baseball NIL? Give the people what they want. They ask you, not us.
Good question. Yeah, good question. Well, I'm not going down that path. I have a daughter. I have a daughter now, and I'm a big fan of softball and women's basketball and volleyball. I think that hopefully, whatever we think that college baseball is growing, and we've all been to Omaha several times, and I think really you're just looking for more rev share or whatever boosters from NIL standpoint, diverting some of those funds to baseball. So maybe again, I don't know what the Hofstra guy or the Santa Clara guy, what we're paying total compensation for them, but it would be nice if we could budget a little more for the baseball program. But I'm not lobbying for eliminating any more sports. So we eliminated rifle a couple years ago. So
that was a very good politically correct answer, Wesley.
Yeah, you did better than I thought you were going to do.
Yeah, late night West is. I agree. We just need a bigger piece of that pie. There's $20-some million there. Let's just break us a little bit more off than that $700,000.
Yes, that's agreed.
Any thoughts on that one there, Adam? Same.
Same. Yeah. I think we should maybe. I think I agree with Wes. I mean, if you spend 12 or $15 million on basketball and that gets you bottom half of the ACC, a bottom half of the ACC caliber team, then I mean, what's the
Well,
point, right? I mean,
here, here,
I just assume have a free team at that point,
well,
So
here's my issue and I'm triggered by the word basketball again. But our best player last year on our basketball team was Quadir Copeland, and I have no idea what Quadir's compensation package was, but I'm guessing it was on the lower end of the team. So, you know, again, I don't think you have to pay, massive amounts to find some talent. And if it could, some of that could be, and our best preseason player last year, if Elliott could have gotten just half of what that player was compensated, that changes the whole dynamic of a program when you look at baseball compared to what happened in basketball last year, which you could say was a disappointment to me based on what our preseason, at least our fans' preseason expectations were.
No, I agree. All right, question 2. Another question. WTF? What the? Okay. Are we going to do without Duden and Marone?
Whew.
Well, there's no replacing those guys. I'll
No.
answer that before I go to Adam. I'll kick it to you after this, Adam. But there is no replacing them. They're two, I mean, really generational talents as far as NC State arms, and so there is no replacing them. But I think you're going to see we're going to have to hope some of the young guys step up. Whether we talked about Hemrick already. Cooper Consiglio has obviously been a lot better here. He's looked more like freshman Cooper Consiglio. Ragusa, maybe he comes on. Anderson Nance is going to have to carry more weight on his shoulders. And we got to score more runs. So that's really the only answer other than crawling in a hole, I think, and sticking our tail between our legs. Adam?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, I mean, we got to find more juice and outscore some guys. I mean, you're not going to replace neither one of those guys, not this year. And it'd be a long time to have two guys like that on your team again, So, yeah, you're just going to have to hope some of these young guys. I mean, Hemrick is definitely a piece. I think some of these other guys that got to pitch against East Carolina last week, Sam Harris being one too. I think they're just going to have to figure in to be big pieces, step up when they were freshmen, just like Duden and Marone did. I mean, they came in as freshmen and, were pretty important parts of that team. So, yeah, we're not going to replace them. I just think we got to work around them and hope we do get to see Marone again. I mean, I really do hope. I mean, I hate it for Duden that we're not going to get to see him wear the red and white again, but I do hope we get a meaningful opportunity to see Marone again. I hope it's, we probably won't if it doesn't mean something. So, I mean, I'm speculating that, you know what I mean? I mean, if I'm hoping that he's able to come back in a situation where the season's there's still something to play for. So,
yeah, we don't want to be we don't want to be 9-18 going into the UNC series.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Anything to add there, Wesley?
No, I mean, I guess that, maybe was a disappointment on Friday and Saturday night that with, two generational players out that, maybe we would have had some guys step up in that Friday and Saturday games. I think, ultimately, I mean, baseball is baseball, but I think that was what I was a little disappointed in, that, we couldn't even make it through the third inning of the Friday night game before I turned it off. So, but I mean, there's, as we said, we're 500 in the conference and one of the best conferences in the country. So, a lot of our older guys that we're expecting a lot more out of offensively, they could turn it on this weekend. So
All right. Next question. We'll start this one with you, Wesley. This one's near and dear to your heart. Does playing a stronger strength of schedule have an impact on becoming battle tested?
yeah, I mean, without question. I mean, I think I was going back and looking at what Indiana State and Washington, where their RPIs are for our Puerto Rico tournament, and they're up there in the couple hundreds, I believe. But yeah, no, it's good for it's good for the players, it's good for the fans, and ultimately we want to grow baseball at NC State, and again, we've been advocating for every episode, so maybe 25% of our 50 episodes we've been advocating to have some of these out of conference series that we can, really get people even more interested that maybe don't follow baseball quite as closely as we do and our listeners. So I don't think you can ever go wrong with I mean, what was it last year with
You
Florida?
don't.
What if
Yeah,
Florida?
that's the thing. That's the thing. It doesn't hurt you, right? Like if you lose a good neutral site, or it doesn't matter. Neutral site away. Those early season series against a quad one team, they're not going to hurt you. There's
That's why
nothing to
Virginia.
do. Nothing but the game.
That's why Virginia Tech's RPI is higher than ours, and they're 19 and 19 because they have the fifth
Yeah,
toughest
Virginia. I
schedule
mean,
in the country.
Virginia Tech opened the season in the tournament in Texas. I believe A&M and several other top 10 teams were in that tournament, and and you guys were in Puerto Rico. So no, so again, yeah, you can't go wrong. I mean, there's only advantages to play, and you put I mean, your young guys can still pitch in high leverage early season situations. You don't have to say we want to throw some young guys. So, and I was saying about Florida earlier. Was it the last year where they had
Yeah,
I mean, but the strength of schedule and RPI
they
is
were
why
number
they
one.
get into.
They had the number one schedule. Yep.
Yeah, and I guess to that point, I'm not saying that we need to like play a non-conference schedule that we might go 500 in, because Florida, if you remember, they almost got in trouble where their RPI was high enough, but they almost weren't 500, which is the threshold. So
Yeah.
we're not saying I mean, hell, play Sacred Heart, that's fine, but like don't play Sacred Heart, Lafayette, Princeton, School of Bond and Death. You got to like have some meat in there, and with the young arms that we're counting on, any player that is recruited to NC State, unless Coach Hart, Coach Chrysler, Coach Avent totally miss, any player who is recruited to NC State should put up good stats against Lafayette. They should put up good stats against Sacred Heart. They should put up good stats against Princeton,
We did.
against Richmond, against those schools. So you don't know what you have. Like those stats are absolutely meaningless when that's all you have as a barometer. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We beat that one around enough.
Well,
All right, next question.
in 25, our series were against Fordham, Canisius, however the hell you say that, and Wright State. And Wright State's been historically a decent program, but I mean, this is us. This is who we are.
Well, and
schedule.
the bad thing about it is you don't have to go far either. There's so many teams in North and South Carolina and Virginia, for that matter, that you can play. And
do you think we're worried about playing them in a regional? I mean, you don't want them to see. I mean, I don't get that. With all the analytics now, like, who gives a damn if coach just sees you 3 times? Like, they already have every single. They know every batter on your team's average exit velocity. They pay for all that data. Like,
yeah.
Well,
I don't get it.
In their defense, and whoever schedules for us in their defense, in 25 we played Ohio State, Alabama, and Coastal in Florida. That's what I'm looking for every year.
Yeah.
That type. We went 0-3. So maybe that's the issue. But I mean, I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be, uh, what your strategy is from a uh, scheduling standpoint every year is whoever is making the schedule. I guess Elliott. I don't know.
And Washington is 211, Indiana State 144, Seton Hall 259. So good deal. Good thing that the Seton Hall game rained out. We didn't need another one of those on our
God.
on our list.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. Anyway, everybody knows how we feel about the schedule, and we're not saying don't play any scrubs. We need to play a few scrubs, but like just give us like one legitimate top 50 series in the non-conference, a weekend series. All right. Have you ever seen anything like the season Rhett Johnson is having? Just a little backline there. If you don't know Rhett Johnson, he's our leadoff guy. Everybody in NC State baseball land that would listen to this podcast should know Rhett Johnson, but he's hitting 485 in the ACC and 431 on the season. Adam?
No, I have not. For a guy to be hitting 485 in conference is pretty nuts. True freshman at that. It's only struck out 6 times and 66 ABs. Again, as a true freshman leadoff man. Yeah, very impressive. I mean, we've got to find a way to keep that kid in Raleigh. Coincidence or not, Wesley, he bears the last name. There's some other influential Wolfpack folks. It would be nice to see. Maybe we can get Mr. Everett Johnson's picture on a pack of chicken or something, or an ad. He can be a part of their adopted family, maybe.
Yeah.
would be good. But yeah, I mean, it's so impressive. I mean, and the speed and just the nuisance that he is on the base paths. Ty's got 7 stolen bases in conference play, but Rhett's got 6. I just can't say enough good things about him and what a spark he is to our team. I mean, I feel like, I don't know where we would be without him leading us off. And I mean, on base percentage is .568 in conference. Just unbelievable. So I don't remember anything quite like it. I mean, 485 in conference play. I mean, we've had some guys hitting over 400, but they're not hitting nearly 500 in conference play halfway through the schedule.
And he leads the entire ACC in conference play by like 50 points. Like, it's absurd.
And 5 hits. I mean, 5 hits on Sunday. So,
Wesley. Yeah, no, I mean, agree with Adam. I mean, I think the most impressive thing when you say it as a freshman, with this type of stats in his first ACC season in a conference with pitchers as talented as ACC, like you're thinking of somebody that's probably 6'3", 240 pounds, and just a behemoth of a man, and then you see Rhett, and you're like, "There's no way." If you were to have a fan who hadn't watched Rhett play all year, and you say that guy has the highest batting average in the ACC, you wouldn't believe it until you see it. And I think that's as good as he is and as good as he's been these last few months, just the upside that he has as an athlete and baseball player is exciting to see. And a couple times during the Wake Forest series, especially on Sunday, because I told myself I wasn't even going to watch on Sunday, but I found myself following along. And when Wake had bases loaded early and got a couple runs, in my mind, I was like, at least we got Rhett. If we're going to lose this game, but at least we got Rhett. So, yeah, I mean, that's he's an amazing player. And, talking about some of the other good freshmen earlier before the podcast started, I think he's in the same category as those guys like Rodon and Turner.
Yeah, I actually went. So the first 2 names that came to me to mind as freshmen were Rodon and Turner. The third one was the guy that hit 27 home runs. I ain't saying his name. That was a traitor. But so I was like, hey, I just went and asked AI. I was like, Rhett Johnson to me is unbelievable. And AI comes back and is like, Rhett Johnson has, already, the words it uses are already one of the most emotionally beloved freshmen in NC State history. There's no doubt. I mean, he's just hard not to just love watching the guy play. So it says that Rodon is the gold standard, is what AI says. He went 9-0 with a 157 ERA. That just blows my mind as a freshman.
Wow. Yeah.
And was the first freshman ever to be ACC Pitcher of the Year. Trey Turner hit 336, stole 57 bases as a freshman. And then Highfield and Omaha. And then the two other names they had was Duden and Anderson Nance, who also were guys that came in and had great freshman seasons. And then it says recent to the conversation, tie head Rhett Johnson. But, what I love so much about Rhett is his approach. Like if you watch early in at bat, he's always going to hit the ball back up the middle. Like if he hits the first pitch, he almost always hits it back up the middle. Like his approach, he knows he's not 230 pounds. He's going to hit it right back at the pitcher. And he actually hit one off the pitcher the other day in that Wake Forest game. He hits it back up the middle, backside. And then when he gets to 2 strikes, this, again, guy is not huge in stature, takes up the entire batter's box, and he beats it in the damn ground. And he says, if you can throw me out, do it. And my God, it's fun to watch. I mean, yeah, it's fun watching a guy hit 20 home runs, but the way he plays the game with his hair on fire, I just gotta love it.
Yeah, I love it too. And to watch, you talking about his approach and how wide of how big he gets in the box with 2 strikes. But what's crazy is to watch him, his normal stance. I mean, the guy gets up there, he's in the back of the back inside part of the box. He's got his feet like inside of his shoulders.
Yes.
He's standing there. He's standing there almost flat-footed with the bat dropped down. I mean, it's like everything you tell a 10-year-old not to do. And the guy, and it freaking plays though, I mean, it's unbelievable. So,
and you keep seeing guys, I've seen they're like, oh, well, he hits a lot of ground balls. He's going to hit them at people. He does this. He's not going to keep beating out all these. Hell, he just does it over and over and over. Like, how many times has he? The other day, he beat one out to the pitcher. He had a high hopper to the pitcher and beat it out. Like he's just, I mean, that speed it just plays, and it's fun to watch. So yeah, we're definitely Rhett Johnson homers. Ryan Marone injury and return probability, and if we know what happened, I kind of mentioned already. Really not going to get into that, other than that it's not the Tommy John surgery. I think that the probability of him coming back, I think Adam kind of alluded to. I think we'll see him again. So Ryan's a guy that he's very high on draft boards. That's not the only reason he's going to come back, but if you were high on draft boards and you're trying to prove you're healthy, you want to pitch again. I guess the real question there is it going to be a meaningful game? I pray so.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you, as much as we love Rhett Johnson, I mean, we absolutely love Ryan Marone and Jacob Duden and Cooper Consiglio. I mean, just guys that have stayed here, Drew Lamphere. I mean, guys in this NIL world now that come in as freshmen and stay the whole time for their careers. I mean, they mean more now than they used to. And I mean, really, really hoping that we get to see them play again, because special to watch. But yeah, I think we'll see Marone again. So
along that same line, Cal, you always call on Wesley and I. You speak to the post, the interview from the LSU coach this week for anybody who didn't see it, about what he had to say.
About Coach Jay Johnson.
Yeah, what he talked about the kids in this era and how he didn't have those kids on this team, but that was great too.
Yeah, but and his roster construction, and they want to all hit home runs, and don't want to do the little things to win baseball games. I mean, it's on X, and he goes on.
And he talks about the kids that have been here, and
the kids that have been here
started here.
He said we need to go back to having kids that we recruited out of high school, and that we developed them and taught them the way we want them to play. And there's something to be said for that, because LSU guys, we're talking about we need more money, and we do need more money. But LSU right now, RPI wise, is like number 75. they're probably not going to make the tournament. They would not make the tournament if the season ended today. And they got, by no question, they have a top 3 payroll in all of college baseball. I guess Texas, UCLA, Texas A&M, Arkansas. Those guys probably all have, but I can't imagine there's a world where LSU's not got a top 3 roster every year in terms of money, and they're not Bayou Bengals at heart. They're a bunch of mercenaries, like is what Wesley called them last week, and they have not adopted the culture of. And Coach Johnson there at LSU, we're not that fond of LSU right now, but he's one of the best coaches in the game, and that rant he had about just having guys that just aren't programmed guys, you should go listen to it.
Yeah, he says that's what I've got right now, basically.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be
but
a
saying that will be
there.
different. That will be different. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And
very
he
well
owns
said.
It. Some people they want to give him a hard time. He owns it. We went and bought all these guys, and they ain't no good. So, all right, got a few more. I don't think Wesley and Adam have seen these. Does this team feel different than past NC State teams, or are we convincing ourselves again because we want to believe?
Convincing ourselves of what, though?
Yeah, what are we convincing ourselves? I think we're pretty realistic that when you take your Friday and Saturday guy.
Yeah, we got a big dose of humble pie shoved right down our throat here. Yeah, having 2 guys like that, like Ryan Marone and Jacob Duden, anytime you lose that, and then you're basically essentially replacing that out of your bullpen, that's freaking hard to overcome. So,
and I will say
those guys just mean so much. I mean, because you get, you look at how many games in ACC games, meaningful games, we got 5, 6, 7 innings out of both Marone and Duden this year, and just how much that means. And they keep you in the game. And quite honestly, just anytime you got those 2 guys out there, you just feel like you got a chance to win the game. So,
and I would say, like, their mentality, and they're just, that they're dogs. Their numbers are worse than they actually should be. Like, if you look at, I think, Marone and Duden, I mean, you go look, like, Wake Forest pulls guys all the time with 80 pitches because they got just a plethora of dudes in the pen. Marone's got a 3.18 ERA and Duden has a 3.60 ERA, and every time they go out, they go 6 or 7 innings. Like, they don't come out after the 5th when they give up, 1 run or none after 80 pitches. They're like, nah, we ain't got no way to get to the 9th. Ryan, go throw us another inning. And, I mean, those guys are huge pieces. But as far as, like, do I feel like we're misleading ourselves with the talent we have? We still have some good players. I mean, when you go look at our stats, I mean, I think Chris McHugh was near the top of the ACC in hitting last year. McHugh would tell you he got to get going. Ty Head's hitting, 263, Frazeman 269. Both those guys are guys that you hope took a bigger leap. Ty Head does a lot of really, really good things. I mean, I don't know if he belongs in this conversation, but I'm just saying overall, I believe in Rhett Johnson, Luke Nixon, Chris McHugh, Sherman Johnson, Mikey Ryan, Braden Frazeman, Ty Head, and then you got Pfeiffer and Wiggins. We have the pieces. Offensively, obviously, it's a big blow, and we're very realistic about the fact that we lost our number 1 and 2 starter, and that's hard to overcome. So, anything to add, Wesley?
No.
All right, number 2. Who on the roster best represents what NC State baseball is supposed to be about? Grit, fight, and showing up every night. I don't think it's fair to label one person that, but answer however you boys want to.
Man, to me, that's probably Ryan Marone. As far as a bat, I would say maybe Luke Nixon. I mean, I just obviously the easy answer there would be Rhett just because of the stats he's put up, but just the heart that Luke Nixon plays with and the emotion that he shows. And quite honestly, Luke just seems to me probably to be like one of our most clutch guys right now. Mikey Ryan's been really hot in ACC play, but to truly embody I forgot how the question was worded, but I'd probably go Luke Nixon, Ryan Marone. To give you one of each, to give you a hitter and a pitcher.
Yeah, I can go. I can. I would say, I mean, I agree with both your answers. And I just add on Luke Nixon. You talk about a guy that's a program guy. He hit 238 as a freshman, playing in 55 games, hit 295 last year, and he's hitting 347 this year. And Red is just on everybody's radar, and rightfully so. But I don't think Luke gets enough recognition for how much he has improved every year he's been at NC State. And he's one of the toughest guys. Another guy, too, that we talk about Rhett being small. Luke ain't a big guy. He's like, man, he's got a lot of pop, too, for a little guy. I mean, he's wound tight. And I just love to watch Luke Nixon play. Hair on fire. Just seems to be a great kid. Obviously, comes from a good bloodline. But and that itself carries some pressure. There's got to be some pressure when you're the son of a World Series champion from the time you step foot on campus. And all he's done's get better every year. And he's one of the most consistent guys in the lineup. I mean, real big on Luke Nixon. And I think he does epitomize the kind of players that Coach Avent wants to bring into the program. Wesley?
Yeah, no, I like Luke a lot. Of course, obviously Marone, from a pitching standpoint, but it's been impressive. I mean, like you said, Luke's put together now, and a freshman when he came in as a freshman, he was maybe $160. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's really developed his body and his overall game.
Yeah, Luke's one of the kids that Luke Marone, Dude, and Consiglio, all those guys we talked about earlier being 3-year guys. But Luke's definitely one of the guys that when he's not with us next year, I'll miss him. I mean, he's been just an absolute joy to watch. When this team is struggling, it sounds like Wesley turned it off the other day, so we'll let him answer this one first. When this team is struggling, what's the one thing that still makes you turn on the game instead of checking the score later?
Rhett. I mean, no, it's just because we enjoy it. I mean, you got some guys that are in some frustrating slumps right now that, at times at least I've said a couple times we're quick to blame the coaches, but the coaches can't make a baseball player make a play. And a lot of our guys have had plenty of opportunities to make plays and they don't. So, I mean, I think that's been the frustrating thing that we're not getting timely hits from our upperclassmen and from guys that that you're depending on to make plays, especially when you have your two, All-American pitchers out. Like those guys have to step up and make plays, and I think that's when you get frustrated when you have guys that instead of stepping up, they really back down. It felt like against Wake Forest.
Adam?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think what keeps me turning it on and not turning it off is wanting to see what these, I know mostly where we're at offensively, I feel like, but wanting to see some of these young pitchers, see some of these guys get a shot. I think that's what, I was, watching this, the game the other night, the 22-1 game, I was just wanting to see who was going to pitch and, what some of these pieces do look like, I mean, I think take advantage of the opportunity to see some of these other guys get a chance to play and see what they might have. And,
who can run out there when they're down 15 runs and still execute and still compete?
Exactly.
I look for guys that compete. I like to watch it. Another thing for me is just I really do believe in the talent on the roster. and that we have good kids and we have a good culture. And, I do believe in these young men. I mean, I could see, McHugh, Frazeman, Fargo, Wiggins, Sherman, Mike. I mean, a lot of people were down on Mikey Ryan earlier in the year, and he got hot. I can see him getting hot, and because I do believe in the pieces we have, and I believe in the leadership in our program. So, just turn it on, hoping that we hit the switch. And Avent, has always kind of had a history of his teams getting better as the season goes along. And then, who's going to step up on the arm side. So, I do think that I want to see, do we got somebody that's going to be able to fill those humongous shoes that are empty right now? So I agree with that answer. Good. I think we're on the same page. All right, last one, and we'll get out of here. And anybody can take it. I don't have an answer yet, and I knew the question. If you had to explain this season's team to a casual fan in one word, what would it be and why?
Wow.
It's too early in the season to say disappointing, but
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going
disappointing.
to say. But I mean, when you've got a guy like Jacob Duden and Ryan Marone, when you got two studs who, quite honestly, have lived up to the hype this year, but when you have those two pieces, up until now, and you haven't, putting yourself in a better opportunity to secure a spot in the postseason, I think is, or that, or just to have two guys like that on your team, and hopefully that it's not the case. But if you were to have two guys like that on your team and not even make the postseason, gosh, that would end up being very disappointing. Again, you can't, injuries happen, but just the opportunity to have two arms like that, and if we were to not advance, would be, God, that would just be disappointing. So, long way from that. I'm like you, Cal. I still believe in, there's a lot of talent on this team, and I do think, there's going to be an opportunity for some of these young guys to step up, and I absolutely hope they do, and I'll be their biggest fan. But yeah, it's hard for me to look past having those two guys like that and thinking anything other than how kind of frustrating it is that we hadn't been able to put ourselves in a little better position, even with them out right now. Up until now, haven't been able to do that. So
Yeah, I guess that was the word that kind of jumped in my mind after you guys said disappointing. I was probably thinking more frustrated. Frustrated, not in our effort, not in our, uh, even competitiveness, but just, it's very frustrating when you feel like you got two guys that can go out and beat like, you feel like this team was even better equipped for a super regional than a regional, but really good in a regional too with the depth of starting arms. So frustrating that you got to go and no matter what happens, unless you win the College World Series, you're going to play the what if game to some degree. On what if Jacob Duden was healthy the whole season, or what if, uh, you know, what if Bargo doesn't pull his hamstring in that 27-0 Richmond game? What if, hopefully not. What if Sherman doesn't get ate by the turf monster at Wake? What if Marone doesn't go down? So just the injuries, it's kind of frustrating to see a team go through that, but we've done that before. Josh Hogue, another one of my guys, it's one of my favorite NC State players of all time. He broke his leg the year we went to Omaha. So Matt Willitson, we lost him. Noah Souls, we lost for a long time in one of those seasons. So guys get hurt, but it is frustrating to see guys get hurt, and it's really, really frustrating when your best players get hurt.
yeah, amen.
Wes,
What's your word? Your
Oh,
one word?
I just said disappointing, but it's too early for that. I don't have it. Frustrating. Yeah, frustrating when they have non-competitive at bats and all they can't hit the ball with a tennis racket. That's frustrating.
Do not strike out with runners on third with less than 2 outs.
Yeah, put the ball in play. Jesus
Be
Christ.
able to get
yourselves
and
a
be able to get
chance.
be able to get the freaking sacrifice down.
Yeah, those things, no doubt. I mean, that's frustrating. I got a feeling that'll be frustrating the next 20 years you watch baseball. Just part of it, but damn, it sucks when it's you. Yeah, or it's frustrating when the other team hits 13 and you hit 1, and yeah, they play in a small ballpark, but you still only hit 1. So yeah, or I mean, God, this weekend we just talked about Luke. God, love that guy to death, and nothing he did wrong, but he absolutely obliterated 2 balls at first baseman this weekend with a runner on first base to line into a double play. That's really frustrating when that happens. You're looking at a double or a triple down the line, and next thing you know, it's a double play. But yeah. All right. Any closing thoughts, fellas?
I hope we this is episode 50. I hope we can find a way to win so we can continue to episode 51. Oh, if we get swept by the Hokies I mean, I'm not going to even think that way, but it's going to be hard to come back. So at least you got us for 50 episodes. We'll just leave it there.
That is one of the questions we get. We didn't get it today, but is it hard to do it when the team's not playing good? It absolutely is.
It is damn sure hard to do it when the team's not playing good. Yeah.
I mean, we got full-time jobs and families and young kids, and it's hard. I mean, we love the pack, and we love hanging out with each other for an hour, even if it is at 10:40 on a Monday night. But I mean, it's when you're like, man, we just got boat raced. Now we got to go talk about it and try not to hurt anyone's feelings.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you one closing thought. I was just sitting here looking at this. We're talking about Rhett Johnson again. There's been all this talk about Sherman, and what a big bat he's been, and he has been clutch lately. I mean, it feels like he's had a few big time games in the last couple of weeks, but he's got Sherman's got 14 hits in ACC play. Rhett's got 32.
That's a crazy number.
Gosh, man, that's unreal, isn't it? Gosh,
it is. It is. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be honest, and we know that Johnson's pretty good from the ballpark. And I told his daddy already. I'm like, man, if Rhett Johnson ain't hitting leadoff for the pack next year, it might break me. I mean, like we know that Marone and Dune aren't going to be here next year. We know Luke's not going to be here next year. We know Chris McHugh's not going to be here. And Ty Head, they're all draft eligible and they're all getting drafted. But man, I hope he grew up a Wolfpacker. I pray every night that he stays one. That would crush me.
Yeah,
that might end the pod. Oh
yeah.
man.
Oh gosh.
All right, boys. We're gonna go get it done. We're gonna go figure out how to win 2 out of 3 at Virginia Tech. Hell, we might sweep them this weekend. Got to go line them up and play. We're due some good luck.
We are.
All right. We'll see you next week. Go Pack.
Go back.
Go Pack.